Welcome back to the Redraft Show. Patent pending. It's coming. Brought to you by FFD Fantasy and proudly sponsored by ProfitX. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports prediction market where you can find the best odds on the market and place wagers and gamble against your friends, eliminating the house and giving you the best odds you can find on the market. So sign up with ProfitX today. Use promo code FFD ProfitX. Do it. So today we're here to talk to you about some running back rankings. It's pretty chalk at the top, but we're gonna break that down a little bit. We're gonna talk to you a little bit about what each matchup means. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Coming in at running back 1 on the week, I've got Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey was incredible, absolutely incredible in his return as a workhorse. This wasn't a ceiling performance, but you're talking about a guy who had 10 targets, 9 catches, 22 carries. I mean, you talk about CMC possibly having his workload managed. The only thing that's going to be managed is the snap share. These guys are devoid of weapons, and we're just gonna, if you're a guy who drafted Christian McCaffrey or a girl and you find yourself like, oh man, there's no way he could handle 30 touches a game. What we're just gonna have to do is enjoy this ride for as long as it lasts, because at 31 touches a game, that's hopefully we scale the workload back just a bit, but I don't know. I mean, if it calls for it, it takes what it takes, and it takes the 49ers winning football games for Kyle Shanahan to stay employed. So Christian McCaffrey is going to be my RB1 taking on the New Orleans Saints this week. Moving on to running back 2 is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs taking on the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears gave up 4.6 yards a carry, 120 yards rushing to the Minnesota Vikings last week, thus further, just highlighting their inability to stop the run. They gave up 138 yards last year. Now they give up 120 to a divisional opponent. Jordan Mason gashed them for about 5 yards a carry, 68 yards on 12 carries, I believe it was. So we're talking about a team with 2 dynamic running backs, David Montgomery in a revenge game. We'll talk about him later. And we're talking about a team that's going to want to establish the run in Detroit. So I think Jahmyr Gibbs is the second strongest play of the week, taking the Chicago Bears on. Now, on Sunday Night Football, you have Bijan Robinson as my RB3 taking on the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, pretty stingy against the run. Caleb Williams got loose, but DeAndre Swift was only able to manage about 3.1 yards a carry against this defense. So I do think that he's going to be dominant through the air again. I don't know that without right tackle Caleb McGarry out there, they're going to have as much success on the ground early on as they kind of figure out life without one of the best run blocking tackles in the NFL. So he's my running back 3 on the week. And what we think could be a tough matchup on the ground, Bijan Robinson comes in at number 3 on the week. That's pretty aligned with where the model has him. So the model has him at 5. I have him at 3. So I'm just thinking that he's going to be able to be dominant. I think the absence of Caleb McGarry, who's one of the best run blocking right tackles in the league, leads us to the fact that it's just going to happen through the air. It have to happen through the air with Bijan, and he's capable of delivering. My running back 4 on the week is going to be Saquon Barkley against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs were pretty stingy on the ground to Omarion Hampton. They did give up some rushing yards to Justin Herbert, but Saquon is Saquon, and he could just as easily as he was stymied in the Super Bowl, he could hit these guys for 175 yards rushing because he breaks 2 long touchdowns. Because that's what he does when you're a talent like Saquon Barkley with the offensive line that he now has. So he's nearly unstoppable. The most unstoppable guys thus far in 2025 has been Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry taking on the Cleveland Browns, who he absolutely obliterated in 2024. He returns again to take on the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland does not have the they were pretty stingy against Chase Brown last week, but again, this is a different beast. So Derrick Henry is my running back 5 on the week. My running back 6 is going to be Kyren Williams taking on the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans were gashed by the Denver Broncos to give up over 150 yards rushing. So I think that the Rams, and with their rushing attack, they're going to be able to establish it, and the game script would favor the Rams being able to give Kyren Williams a ton of touches and thus fall into the end zone and be a top 5 play, or top 6 play, on the week. At 7, I have Breece Hall taking on the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills were just gashed by the aforementioned Derrick Henry. And so Derrick Henry is not there, but Breece Hall is. Breece Hall is one of the most elite talents on the game. We all said when the games started, Breece Hall would separate himself. He rushed for over 100 yards, I believe 107 yards on 19 carries. And you also, you also have Braylon Allen averaging, 1.5 yards a carry, I believe, 6 carries for 9 yards. Isaiah Davis was a non-factor as well. So this is shaping up to be Breece's backfield. Alliteration aside, let's move on to my running back 8. So Josh Jacobs, you have Josh Jacobs coming in on Thursday Night Football, taking on the Washington Commanders. And the Washington Commanders were really, really stingy on the ground last week. I believe they only gave up 30 yards rushing, but this is a different beast. So Josh Jacobs, I'm not fearful of at all. I mean, this could shoot out, and Josh Jacobs is going to be a part of that. If they get inside of the low red zone, Chris Brooks looked okay, but that's, Josh Jacobs is Josh Jacobs. End of story. Moving on to my running back 9, James Cook. I am a little bit more bullish than the model on James Cook. James Cook taking on the New York Jets. New York Jets did stifle the run game of the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. However, this is a different animal with a much better offensive line. Freshly paid James Cook, Moneybag Jimbo. I'm really excited to see what he does. It seems like they've got their guy, and it's not going to be the timeshare we thought it was with Ray Davis. Moving on to my running back 10, it's going to be Chase Brown. Chase Brown taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars were effective against the run last week with the Carolina Panthers. That's right. They took on the Carolina Panthers. So they were, Chuba was 16 for 57, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that Chase Brown's going to be able to find and punch a few more holes into that Jacksonville front. So Chase Brown comes in as my running back 10. My running back 11 is going to be James Conner. Now, me and the model are nearly aligned on this. James Conner is the running back 12 in the quality stats model. Not projections, it's the model, whatever. So in the model for this week, James Conner, running back 12. My running back 11 on the week is going to be James Conner. James Conner taking on the Carolina Panthers. I can't get enough of this. Obviously, Trey Benson broke off the big run last week and was more effective on a per touch basis. My goodness. I'm getting so excited about James Conner because I think this Carolina run defense is going to be really bad again. That's going to be really good for James Conner this week.
If you're looking for more FFD, sign up for a Patreon or YouTube membership and get access to the ADP, Dynasty rankings, the rookie draft kit, and extra shows every week.
My running back 12 is going to be Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor gets a degree of difficulty matchup in the Denver Broncos. Alliteration aside, Jonathan Taylor killed the Broncos last year. He's just one of the best running backs in the league. And so I do think he's a top 12 player with top 5 upside. So my running back 13 is going to be a guy who's just in purgatory right now with the Dolphins offense. It's going to be Devon Achane. Devon Achane can get you there on one big play, and he's going to be the primary ball carrier, pass catcher out of the backfield. So I'm not ready to give up yet. My running back 14 is going to be Amarion Hampton. Amarion Hampton taking on the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football. I think that he represented himself pretty well. He's not the most creative runner, but he's going to have a few more lanes against a defense that was fairly stingy against Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson last week. But I think that they're going to be able to establish the run in a positive game script this week. Moving on, I've got Bucky Irving taking on the Houston Texans. Bucky Irving is my running back 15, a little bit lower. The model has him at running back 10, so I'm a little bit lower on him this week. I think that Texans front is going to be tough to establish it on, but Bucky Irving's so talented. I just think that he's still a top 15 play. I'm just not as high on his ceiling against the stingy Texans defense this week. Moving on to my running back 16, it's going to be Alvin Kamara against the San Francisco 49ers. Alvin Kamara, found the end zone last week. He's still Alvin Kamara. He's still going to be that guy. This offense isn't as bad as we thought it was. Spencer Rattler, the battling ginger is, he did some good things. Quiet is quiet. We got to say that. You know what? I'm going to lower my voice a little bit. That's my bad. I shouldn't be that excited about Spencer Rattler. Okay, guys, that's my bad. So let's move on to my running back 17. That's going to be Mr. Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne in one of the highest scoring games of the week, 49.5. So he impressed us all. Now that Carolina run defense could be bad again, as we just talked about, but also he could just be back to being who he was in 2023. So I don't know. Time will tell. And I think it's going to be more of what we saw last week versus what we saw at any point in 2024. So my running back 18 is going to be Kenneth Walker III, Kenny Three Sticks. It's still real to me, damn it. I can't give up on Kenny Walker. I mean, the carry distribution. I'm not ready to say Kenneth Walker's not the starter anymore. I know I could be screaming into the void with this, but I think we're going to get some sort of a correction. Let's not freak out. Kenneth Walker's still very good at football, and they're taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think with the Pittsburgh Steelers just recently getting gashed by Breece Hall, they've got some things to figure out on the ground. And Kenny Three Sticks is the type of guy that can make you have a really bad day at at a moment's notice. So my running back 19 is going to be Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard takes on the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know what to expect, but I think Chuba Hubbard's going to handle volume and he could fall into the end zone. That makes him a top 20 play for this week. So my running back 20 on the week is going to be a guy that the model has as the running back 7. That's going to be Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty gets the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers in a matchup this week where the Chargers are quite literally the number one scoring defense in the NFL in 2024. And now they get off to a strong start, throttling the Chiefs in week 1. So I'm not as high on Ashton Jeanty this week. So RJ Harvey comes in as my running back 21 on the week. I think he's one of 3 running backs to hit 20 miles an hour last week. He's doing it. This is what he did. He had the highest breakaway run percentage last year as a collegiate senior at UCF. The second highest breakaway run percentage behind only Ashton Jeanty. And he's doing that now behind the best run blocking offensive line in the NFL in the Denver Broncos. So I think he's earned more touches with his play, and it's only going to touches with his play is crazy, by the way. Anyway, moving on to running back 22, Zach Charbonnet is going to be our running back 22, traveling to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers might have some stuff to get figured out on the ground. If Zach Charbonnet's snap distribution and touches are real, I'm holding out hope because I've been such a big Kenneth Walker fan, but I was smart enough to handcuff Zach Charbonnet with him. So I'm good either way. I think this is going to be maybe more of a timeshare than we gave it credit for previously. Zach Charbonnet had handled about 10 touches a game when Kenneth Walker was healthy. If that's going to be, more evenly distributed, Zach Charbonnet is going to be a weekly RB2 with RB1 upside. And Kenneth Walker is going to have flex appeal, or he could be the RB1 because he just dominates a game that way. So I'm moving on to my running back 23. That's going to be Jordan Mason. So Jordan Mason comes in. They're taking on the Sunday Night Football game. They're taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons were fairly stingy against Bucky Irving this past week, but Bucky Irving is one of the best running backs in the league. Jordan Mason was extremely effective, and he basically continued down the tear that he's been on as we thought it might have been the system in San Francisco, and now we definitely know that he's just really good at football. So if he's going to continue to be this much more effective than Aaron Jones, he's going to be one of the biggest values, and he comes in as my running back 23 on the week. My running back 24 on the week is going to be DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift takes on the Detroit Lions, and I'm somewhat excited about this usage because he handled 17 carries, he caught a few passes, and he's got the backfield to himself. So if this offense figures it out, and they're just not out there spinning their wheels or struggling after, the 15 play script is up, first 15, then I think that this could be the value that we thought it was because there's no competition for touches at this point. My running back 25 is going to be Travion Henderson against the Miami Dolphins. This is the feels bad game because either team that loses is just whichever team loses is just going to feel bad. The rest of your season is just going to feel bad. So I'm anxious to see. Hopefully we get some more touches for Travion this week. And I hope that I'm wrong in that he can give us more of a ceiling performance. So he's catching passes. We just need him to get a few more carries, and we need the offense to be out there more and stop turning the ball over. Moving on to my running back 26 is going to be Jacory Croskey-Merritt. Bill takes on the the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night or Thursday night football, not Sunday night football. And I think that he's displayed everything that we thought. He's got the jump cuts. He's got the explosiveness. And this is a guy who shouldn't have been a 7th round pick in the first place, but now he's in one of the most dynamic run offenses in football. And we need to be paying attention. My running back 27 is going to be Aaron Jones taking on the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday Night Football. My running back 28 is going to be Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard takes on the Los Angeles Rams. And I don't think that's really going to go well. My running back 29 is going to be Javonte Williams. They call him Vontae if you nasty, and it's nasty to play him, but he's dominating the touches in the Dallas Cowboys backfield for the moment, and that's an elite offense, and we like running backs in elite offenses. My running back 30 is going to be David Montgomery. David Montgomery is going to bounce back against his former team, the Chicago Bears, but this is more, I think, this is a little bit more of a floor play. Moving on to my running back 31, Isaiah Pacheco. He's handling most of the touches. He's out there running into the back of linemen and just missing holes and stuff. Hey, free Rashard Smith. My running back 32 is going to be Tyrone Tracy. I guess, maybe. My running back 33, J.K. Dobbins. He looked good. I mean, as long as he's healthy, he's going to be good. He's good at football. My running back 34 is going to be Austin Eckler. My running back 35 is Ramondre Stevenson. And closing the list out is going to be my running back 36, and that is Dylan Sampson. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you tapping in with us. This is another episode of the FFD Fantasy Redraft Show, and these were the running back rankings. But before you go, I got a Chef GPT key to generational wealth over on ProfitX. Zach Ertz over 3.5 receptions. I think that that's going to be a key matchup for the Thursday night football game. Commanders, Packers, and I'm really excited to see what kind of odds I can get over on ProfitX. So go over, sign up if you haven't, use promo code FFD, and hey, get your friends on and you can bet and eliminate the house. You made it this far, man. Thanks again. And as I always leave you, there's ball watchers and there's ball knowers. Assign yourselves accordingly.